Hello, welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, comment, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We would love to hear your ratings of the movies and shows we review.
Email us your audio file to recappingpodcast@gmail.com and we will play it during the show.
Or DM us on Instagram and we will post and read it on air.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Delora, girl. We are on episode 46. Can you believe this, Ish?
We're really doing the damn thing, aren't we?
I'm telling you what, guys, stick with us. We only got 4 more. We're about to be on episode 50. So exciting.
Gosh. And we're coming upon our 1-year anniversary too, Ashley.
We are. Oh, we got some things to celebrate. We got some alcohol to drink.
Sure
But how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm all right. Coming down a little bit of a migraine situation, but the show must go on, so we will power through. Okay? Yeah. And nothing will stop me from talking to you and from talking to our lovely listeners.
Same. And we've been through some things.
Exactly. Y'all don't understand sometimes what be going on behind these scenes, but we keep it cute and we keep it moving. All right. So as we talked about last week, we have a remake, which is He's All That, guys. Dropped on Netflix on August 27th. Runtime a little over an hour and 30 minutes. At the time of our recording, it was number 2 in Netflix's top 10 in the US. Again, don't hold me to that, because this is a return to cotton candy film, Delora, as we've talked about with Resort to Love. So never know how these things are going to go. But let me give you guys a quick summary. An influencer specializing in makeovers that she can transform an unpopular classmate into prom king. And this, as I mentioned, remake of the teen classic, She's All That. Let's get into this cast. Addison Rae, TikTok superstar, is Paget. Tanner Buchanan of Cobra Kai is Cameron. Peyton Meyer.
That recap.
Please. Peyton Meyer is Jordan Van Dranen, damn it. Madison Pettis is Alden. Do you remember her as a child, Delora, when she starred?
I sure do.
Was it the Tooth Fairy with the Rock?
The Game Plan.
Game Plan. Sorry,
I own that DVD, by the way.
I mixed up some of his kids' films.
I've been a hardcore Rock fan for many years, and that was like one of his first films,
Did he still have hair in that one?
He does, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah. When he just got done with the people's eyebrow. All right, we have Myra Malloy as Quinn. She was one of my favorites. She's gorgeous. We have Annie Jacob as Nisha. We have the Rachel Lee Cook returning as Anna. We have
legendary.
We have Isabella Cravetti as Bryn. We have Matthew Lillard also returning as Principal Bosch.
Yes.
All right, reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, 30% critic score, 27% audience score. But Google users, y'all kept it a little nicer, 70%. So Delora, we've talked about all the things, we've given the ratings and reviews from others. Hit me with your rating and review of He's All That.
Ashley. Okay. So, as you put it in our text, I hate watched this movie because I don't like Addison Rae. And it's not because I'm against the new generation and their TikTok and social media and things like that, but she just screams like Hollywood is trying to put her somewhere. It's like, okay, you're popular here. Let's see if you can act. Let's see if you can dance. Let's see if you can whatever. And she apparently has a song out now called Obsessed. And
she's performing at the iHeart Music Festival in Vegas.
So bad, Ashley. It is so bad. And so I'm like, and you put her in a remake of such a beloved movie?
Yeah.
y'all are doing too much. This is like quintessential like Hollywood, you know what I mean? But I was open to it because again, original, she's all that. Rachel was in there, you know, and our dude Tanner from Cobra Kai. So I was going to give it a watch, and I had some time. Okay. I gave this film a C. I gave it a C.
Okay.
Because I had time that weekend and I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the movie. I did watch a few interviews with Addison Ray and Tanner, and Tanner, I thought, explained it the best. He's like, this movie has the essence of the original, but it brings something new. And I agree. You can feel the essence of the original, but with the addition to social media and things like cancel culture and all that type of stuff, I felt like they did it in a way that was done well. It wasn't awful.
Okay.
It wasn't awful. What about you, Ashley?
Man, I can't say that I felt the essence of the original, but to your point, I also did not hate it. So my grade, we're in the same ballpark. I gave it a C minus. This does not rank remotely on my teen rom-com list, right? But I watched it due to my love of that original film. And
Absolutely.
I was, because when this was first announced, I was not familiar with Addison Rae at all. So I heard, oh, they cast some TikTok star. And I was like, what type of BS is this? But I was curious after I started hearing more about her, just to see what her first acting role is really going to be like. And I cannot lie to you, I was actually impressed. For someone who has never been in any type of major starring vehicle, I thought she held her own.
For her to be the lead of this film.
Exactly.
That's why this film gets a C for me too, because I was not only hate watching it, I was just really expecting her to fail. And
she was pretty natural. She was pretty natural. And in my opinion, and forgive me for anybody who thinks that this is even remotely offensive, she has a young Britney Spears quality and likability to her personality. And that's just like dead ass. Yeah, I mean, she just has something about her that just reminded me of like a young Britney Spears.
Yeah, and I bring up the fact that she's from Louisiana because they have a bit of that Southern charm to them, you know?
I know exactly what you meant.
Overwhelming. I'm just explaining it for the audience too. You know, it's not overwhelming, but it's that sparked. And I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they still have this level of normality. They don't seem like they're some divas or that they're untouchable or unreachable, right? They're still kind of that girl next door-ishness. So that is my rating and review, Delora. And let's go ahead and give our spoiler alert as we get into the good of the film. So we start the film seeing Paget as a successful social media influencer with over 1 million followers and getting—
What is this name though? I'm sorry.
Paget. Yeah, Paget. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who has a family member named Paget that they borrowed
Never
that from.
heard of it in my life. Never.
But you know, I like unique names because, as I've told you, I don't like being an Ashley. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of unique names. Okay. But she was also getting $3,000 checks in the mail, even helping her mama pay the bill. So she was doing her thing. Rachel Lee Cook, as we talked about in the intro, is her mom and is playing a nurse in this film. So it's not an extension of her Lainey Boggs character from the original. Were you disappointed in that, Delora? Were you hoping that this would be a continuation of the original in that way?
Absolutely, Ashley. To use the terminology from our last recap, Loki, I wish it was all in the same universe. It's almost just as bad as Space Jam Legacy, right? Not in the same universe. And it's like, why can't we have a continuation? Because you're obviously doing the thing, right? And just like Space Jam Legacy, also Freddie Prinze nowhere to be found. There was no Michael Jordan.
I mean, I feel like Space Jam tied it in better than this does, because at least in Space Jam, we give deference to the idea that there was a Michael Jordan that existed and that those events happened. Whereas in this, it's as if the events of the first film never even happened, right? You're at the same high school. It's still the earthquakes, you know, all these things that are still the same. So I would have absolutely loved, even if she wasn't Lainey, I would have loved more references to the fact that we are still in the same universe of we're still in the same school. It's still, you know, just a little bit more ties. And I know there are a few throughout, but a little bit more. So I was disappointed too. And I absolutely want to see a Freddie Prinze Jr. cameo in this movie.
Oh my gosh. But actually, to that point also, I was like, I wish she was the child of the two, right?
Exactly. And what would Lainey, what did they do with their careers? Because they were both going to go study art in school. Like, what was going to happen? You know? So yeah, that would have been cute. But I guess, you know, Freddie was over, you know, recording Punky Brewster before that got canceled on Peacock. So damn.
No.
Yeah, the remake got canceled. Anyway, so Pageant is lying about her life a bit though, Dolores. She pretends she lives in an apartment building when some nicer, swankier apartment building when her friends pull up to pick her up for school. But her and her mom had just had a conversation about how hard her mom works to keep her in the school district she's in. So how did you feel as a mom about Pageant being embarrassed of the life her mom has worked so hard to give her?
Well, that's a great question, Ashley. I just was thinking like, oh my goodness, she's living a lie. So like I actually didn't think, in some ways, I didn't think that she was embarrassed of what her mom did. I took it as her wanting to, I guess it is embarrassment, but in some ways I almost took it as her wanting to be on the same level as her friends. And honestly, in this social media world, and her being in California, it's all too common, right?
Right.
You know, it's all smoke and mirrors, essentially, what I'm trying to say. So
it's Hollywood. It's Hollywood.
It's a heightened sense of self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess ultimately, yes, it's a reflection of you feeling like you're not good enough, but I feel like in some ways she just was keeping up appearances, and I don't know how to explain that.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, because remember, it reminded me of the one girl on Big Shots, a show that we both watched on Disney Plus, who was also gaining followers and endorsements in high school and social media, and she was pretending this big mansion was her real house when it wasn't. So you know, I agree. I think it's more so about the idea of needing to keep up with everybody in the world versus, oh, I'm embarrassed about my situation. No, it's just about creating this image, this public image that is aspirational for anybody who may be watching you and paying attention to you. So I agree. Mean Streets of Pally. Is this a bop, Delora? Did you bop out to this?
La 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 la.
I'm Jordan Van Drana, damn it. Listen, I know it was goofy as hell, but I cannot say that song was not catchy. That song was catchy as hell.
Actually, I have in my notes, I'm like, this song is an earworm. I'm like, why am I bopping to this?
No.
What?
And what I love about that actor is he was taking it so seriously. I'm like, he could have absolutely been in a boy band of our era. Like, he was so serious.
It's so funny, actually, because when I saw him, I'm like, he looks so familiar. And I remembered he was in the remake of Girl Meets World, which was Boy Meets World continuation. They did the thing that we wanted, you know. Corey and Topanga got married, had a child, and then this is her world, you know. And he was the cute boy on the Disney Channel. And I only watched a couple of episodes because at that point, Amara wasn't born, but, you know, a nostalgia. You wanted to see what, you know, what this show was all about. And I'm like, he looks so familiar. And these kids grow up so fast.
Like, I was going to say, Madison. He looked 30. He looked 30. And
and he's very handsome. So he kept good looks. So yeah. But that was Bob, Ashley. I'm
telling you, that's why I was like, no, listen, it really did get stuck in my head for real. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie to you. But Jordan is playing the Taylor of this film, again, throwback to the original, because he's Patty's boyfriend, but she unfortunately catches him cheating on her on the set of his music video with a chick named Addison. Not sure her being a big fan of Paget softened that blow, Delora, but she made it a point to mention. Unfortunately, she went live on social during the debacle, and her friend quote unquote Alden kept rolling throughout. So this ugly crying video of her went viral. She started hemorrhaging followers and was labeled Bubble Girl. She also lost her major endorsement with Bunny Venom, aka Kourtney Kardashian's company, as Jessica Miles Torres. Now, what killed me about Kourtney's appearances is she even dropped a Kris Jenner line during that first monologue that she gave. What do you think of Kourtney Kardashian's appearance during this film?
Well, she was no Addison Rae. Her acting was not good at all. And apparently Addison, again, I saw several YouTube interviews gearing up for the recap here, and Addison was saying that Kourtney was so nervous and everything like that. I'm like, yeah, she should have been, because it was very much Kourtney Kardashian, just in her very, monotone way, reciting lines.
Basically, she took me out of it. Like, she took me out of the movie.
Yes.
Every time she appeared on screen.
That picture that Paget had of her on her phone, Kourtney was looking real good in that picture. I'm like, yes, giving me face and hair. Yes.
Yeah. That's one thing about Kourtney. You ain't gonna hardly ever catch her slipping. But I agree, it wasn't her best. I did think it was cute though, just for the fact that they are friends in real life. It's like this very unlikely friendship. For those of you listening who don't follow anything with the Kardashians,
yes,
Addison Rae made an appearance during the final season, and they had this unlikely friendship because there was like a 20-year age difference between them. But way to include your friend.
Like they use each other though.
That's possible.
Uses her to remain relevant with the kiddos, and she's hanging out with the Kardashian.
Exactly. And all of the Kardashians. I mean, she's talking to all of them at that point. So, it's Hollywood. I scratch your back, you scratch mine type shit. All right. So Jordan's followers increased, but Paget mentions having made him over to be who he is now, right? She was like, oh, he was 120 pounds. He used to be goofy looking. He used to say goofy little sayings, and look what he is now, right? So, of course, here's the bet, Delora. She makes with her frenemy Alden. She can make anyone prom king. So Alden is the Paul Walker, R.I.P. Paul Walker.
Oh, this is breaking my heart.
This film, right? She is that antagonistic frenemy character. So after taking a look around campus, they settled on bad attitude, scruffy, beanie hat wearing Cameron, who doesn't care about social media or being popular. So of course, he's the lost cause and the one that we have to give this makeover. Cute as he can be, but he's the lost cause because he got a bad attitude. All right. Delora, I have a question for you. Did you have a social hierarchy at your high school? Was it like popular kids, jocks, nerds, etc.?
Ashley, we're talking about high school. Yes. Now, I have to say, I was able to navigate through a lot of spaces. So I wasn't terribly popular because I didn't have all the latest and greatest clothes. You know what I mean? Like, my parents did not care about Michael Jordan and his shoes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I wasn't the swaggiest, but people knew who I was because I was in everything. I was class treasurer. I was in band, marching band, but then I was able to get out of that and be part of the dance group. You know what I mean? Like,
you were a jack of all trades in school.
I was able to weave, and I was part of the smart kids, but so to be fair, I didn't know a lot of how can I put this? I didn't know everybody, but I knew a lot of the people who were doing a lot of things in school, if that makes any sense. And honestly, it's kind of like that in an adult life too. Like, I'm a part of groups where we see a lot of each other because we're always like leading or organizing, or do you understand what I'm trying to say, Ashley?
Yeah.
So that hasn't changed, I guess, for me. What about you, Ashley?
Well, I was gonna say, I really used to think that this was some straight white people shit. I was like, I have never been to a school where it's just like this level of division amongst the student body. Like, yes, there are
So
kids.
starkly, right?
Exactly. Because it's
yeah.
like going to predominantly Black schools, there wasn't this thing of like, oh, these are the untouchable jocks who don't pay people any attention, or these are the super popular pretty girls who don't talk to people. You know, it was more so just like, yeah, different people may have had their lanes, but it was not that stark, like literally social hierarchy of school
systems.
Exactly. So I really used to be like, this is some straight white people shit. Like, I cannot relate to this, but I can still understand the idea, right, of like some of the things they were saying about like in high school, you still were not necessarily 100% confident about who you were. So sometimes you would put on, or you would try to be a part of cliques that maybe, you know, didn't necessarily serve your best interest. Yeah, just all sorts of things. You know, so definitely still can relate to that aspect. But in terms of the literal, like, oh, you see Pageant and she's the most popular girl in school, and oh my God, that's Pageant is talking to you. Like, no, that never happened for me in high school.
Well, I mean, I understand what it's like to be a freshman and have a senior, like the senior guy that everybody have crushes on, talk to you. You're like, hi.
Well, see, then we talking about you fresh meat. Like, it's totally different when you, even in college, when you first get on the college campus and you fresh meat, you're like, oh, the vultures are out, they're circling.
Well, in college, actually, I felt a little bit more of that, especially for the athletics of it all, like the football, the cute football guy that everybody liked. He drove like a BMW and he had the nice clothes, and you know, it was just like, oh my goodness, he looked my way. Like,
girl, it was the Greeks when I first got there. I was told very early in my freshman year that I had already been claimed, and I was like, excuse me? I don't know what you're saying. I am not property, and I don't like none of y'all. So I don't know what you're talking about, sir, but I'm gonna go to class now. So yeah, it's yeah, some weird stuff going on.
Are you pledged, Ashley?
Am I what?
Did you pledge?
No, I've never pledged. I'm not a joiner in that way. I give no offense to anybody who gets really into the Greek life. I see the benefits of it. I get an understanding of, especially those who are very service oriented and about the networking aspect, but I'm just not that person.
That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about sororities.
Yeah, I'm just not that person. I've had family members try very hard, and old teachers who tried very, very hard, and I just was not about that life.
Yeah, I'm a joiner, but I never joined Greek. And obviously, yes, I know a lot of our, especially Divine Nine, do a lot of work in the community and things like that.
Absolutely.
But on a college campus, I can't say that was the first thing that came to mind.
Oh no, it was the parties and it was the status and it was a lot of other factors as well. Especially when neither one of us went to HBCU, so I can only imagine. I can only imagine. You know,
the pressure would have been high. But yes, I'm also me by me. So yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. After Cameron's initial rejection of Paget when she first starts to approach him to take pictures for a prom fundraiser, Paget works her way in with him with help from his sister, Bryn. Cameron's a horse boy, Delora, and somehow has time to work and clean stables before school. When does their school day start? Like, I was so curious how they had so much time in the mornings to get stuff done.
He had to have started like at the, butt crack of dawn easily, because there's no way. I could never, when I was in high school, I could have never.
Agreed.
That mean he would have had to been out there like 5 a.m. No, thank you.
Nope. Paget invites Cameron and his bestie Nisha to a karaoke pool party, and Delora, he falls for her singing and dance moves, so much so that he hops on stage when her performance of Teenage Dream falls apart following the arrival of her ex. Now, what most shocked me was why antisocial Cameron knew that song until we discovered that his ass was in Glee Club back in the day. I related to the ladies doing the really bad performance of The Boy Is Mine. That was me at one point in time, and that still makes me cringe. Do you have a go-to karaoke song, Delora?
Oh, that's a great question, Ashley. It's been such a long time since I've done karaoke, but I do love a good Sweet Caroline. You know what I mean? Sweet Caroline.
Bum, bum, bum. Okay. All right.
But I think there's one more, but I can't think about it. I'm not thinking of it. What about you?
I get so nervous doing karaoke because I don't like to get up and perform. As much as I love to sing, I don't like to get up and perform in front of people. So if it's anything that I can do it with a group of people, like give me some Salt and Pepper, give me something with Destiny's Child, give me something that's a collective group effort, I'm all for it. Now you put me on stage with myself, I don't know.
But I'm not gonna lie, after they were singing Teenage Dream, I was singing to the top of my lungs because I love that song. That's when Katy Perry was in her bag. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that was a good one.
Love that song.
That was a good one. Cameron finally gets the big makeover about midway through the film for a great Gatsby themed party, Alden's 18th birthday. I didn't find his makeover to be quite as dramatic as that slow descent down the stairs in the original. But Laura, did you swoon like all the other girls when you saw this makeover for Cameron?
Did I swoon? No, but he is a good looking kid. You know what I mean? And so I did put that. I was like, balcony scene, but he wasn't in a balcony. But I really did enjoy the joke after they asked him, I'm like, how did you feel? Like I just got eliminated from Dancing with the Stars.
Yes. And he did. Where's his mirror ball?
That is my show. You know what I mean? And he absolutely looked like it with that pinstripes.
Girl, that is our show. You know, I'm a new convert over to
I have to include you now.
The gospel of Dancing with the Stars. It was so entertaining. I'm so excited for the new season to start. But I agree. I think maybe if it had been an actor that I had never seen before, it would have been a bigger deal for this transformation. But again, he's so cute as Robbie in Cobra Kai. Check out that recap that, you know, we already know what he looks like when he's not wearing that little fake wig and the little scruff. So, you know, but he was adorable. He was a cutie.
Was so bad. That wig was so
bad. That's why they kept the hat on that man's head. Because they already knew it wasn't the cutest. But yeah, I think if it had been another actor that I had never seen, maybe it would be a bigger deal. But he was still cute. I mean, he's adorable. So at the party, Paget's ex, Jordan, gets dumped by his new thing, Addison, gets his ass kicked by Cameron, who turned back into Robbie and brought out all the Cobra Kai moves. And ends up with, I knew it too. I was like, if you don't just go ahead and do a quick little 2-step and knock his ass down, I'm gonna be really upset.
Yes.
And Delora, Jordan ends the night with birthday girl Alden, which again, supposed to be Paget's little friend, but she ain't shit. So the next day, Cameron's popularity has landed him a prom king nomination. Surprise, surprise. And also Alden announces her run for prom queen with Jordan by her side. Paget was surprised though at this revelation. Did we not see this betrayal coming, Delora? Did we not see it?
I mean, we saw it because we knew about the original, but I knew she wasn't her friend when she didn't stop that live all the way back from the beginning. A good girlfriend would have been like, okay, sis, turn off the phone. Let's get you some tissue. Let's walk out. Like, he's not worth it, period.
I mean, she was not a girlfriend, throwing shade and talking ish the whole film. Remember when right after the video went viral and all that stuff, she was like, I mean, just kind of what Paget gets. She's been pretending and living this little perfect life for all this time. Like, you are such a hater. But
that's what you get when you're not authentically you. You get fake friends, you know?
Oh, that's a good point, Delora. So you feel like Paget brought this on herself just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Okay. As Cameron,
because the foundation is not sound, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, good thing she had one good friend in Quinn, because Alden was not here for her character. As Cameron is falling for Paget and showing her his dark room, he decides to prom-pose, and unfortunately, the big reveal comes that he was a fucking bet at the car wash fundraiser.
He actually took the time to do a promposal. That's how much he cared.
Did you like the picture, presenting her a picture of herself as the promposal though? Because I was watching the drag queen's little reaction video, and they thought that was creepy. And I was like, is that creepy?
No, I didn't think it was creepy, but I didn't think that picture was as great as he probably tried to make it to be.
Well,
because, you know,
I was just gonna say, we know it's supposed to be an example of him that he's now open to showing his work, because that was his main thing, is he didn't want to show his photography. Yeah, but I don't.
But yeah, it just seemed kind of basic compared to most promposals
that transpire on these internets. That whole was I a bet? Was I a fucking bet? It did not have the sting of the original yet again for me, because that was such an epic. In the original, remember, Zach looked like he was about to cry. Like, that was an epic.
Oh, he did.
Big reveal.
Right.
It was so juicy. And then you had Taylor coming, rapping on his arm, like, oh, you didn't think you were popular for real, did you? Oh, you did. That's so sweet. Like, it was just so much better for me again in the original. So I apologize. I don't mean to keep throwing the original in y'all's faces, but it was so good.
But it's so funny because I saw a video of Freddie Prinze. It was a Today Show video, and he was talking about how much this movie has made an impact, and people still talk about it to this day. Yeah. And one of the things that he said that I thought was funny, he said, you know, I feel like I understood the character, and he was sweet, but he was like, I was sweeter, and I was able to bring more to the character in that way to make people, you know, even though he was such a butthole and it was a butthole thing that he did, you still kind of felt for him and rooted for him, right?
Yeah, he definitely gave that character depth, because remember, he was even dealing with the whole push and pull of his dynamic with his father and not wanting to follow in his father's footsteps. Remember, he was possibly going to commit to these Ivy Leagues, and he's like, you don't want me to pick a future, you want me to pick your future. So there were other layers to that character. The same way, though, to be honest, we do get with Paget a bit, because one of the things we haven't really talked about is the fact that one of the reasons why Paget wants to do this bet is because of the viral video and her losing her endorsement, she does not have a way to pay for college. So it meant more to her than just being some little silly high school bet. This was a way for her to continue on in her education. So they gave Paget some layers too, to give credit to this current iteration. So, Laura, is it wrong that I liked Rachel Lee Cook's prom dress as a chaperone better than I like Paget's?
No, because I felt the same way. I was like, so this is the dress. I thought it was interesting because at the end of the day, no one's dress wowed me at all.
No.
It was just like, I'm like, is this prom or homecoming? Because, you know, homecoming, you just put on a little ditty, you have a good time. Prom is like, I have arrived.
Exactly. And guys, guess what?
None of this.
We're gonna throw some little throwback photos of Delora and I at our proms on social media when we do this post. So check those out so you can see what we wore to prom. Just so y'all know, my inspiration was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Kate Hudson. So just in case y'all are wondering.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to give y'all some feedback on mine. So in high school, like I said, I wasn't wearing the latest, greatest anything. I actually wore baggy jeans and t-shirts. It was so bad that my own dad was like, you know, you can wear jeans that can, you know, form fit, you know? And I was like, yo, I had a crisis my senior year. I was like, my dad is telling me to wear more form-fitting clothes. Mind you, you know, looking back, I'm like, oh, my body. I wish I appreciated. Anyway. So when I got my prom dress, I was like, oh, this is cute, this is sophisticated. I was looking for color, but what did I wear? Black satin. Right? But I had the halter top and a deep V, and people lost their sugar honey iced tea when I showed up to prom. It was one of those moments where people were literally walking up to me saying, this was my big reveal.
Yeah, look at that body, Audie, okay?
So when you see the picture, yeah, that was the most like wham bam thank you ma'am I was like ever at that point. I think my prom dress is still hanging in my mom's closet. I want to grab it and somehow repurpose it because I still love that fucking dress. Oh, I love mine too.
Yeah,
mine is probably at my mom's house too.
But my one regret, and y'all will see this, is I wore crimps in my hair, and it's not to say that it was super outdated at the time. I just look back and I'm like, damn, I wish I had done something else with my hair. Like it's fine, it's a time period, it is what it is. But
A moment in
Y'all
time?
be on the lookout for our prom throwback pics.
Oh, one more question. Did you have a date, Ashley?
I absolutely did have a date.
I did not. I went with a group of friends.
Okay, girl,
Yeah.
I was asked a whole year prior to the prom, and I
Very
still
nice.
wasn't about to go with that man. The only reason why
Oh
I'm
my.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. The only reason why I ended up going with him is because the guy that I wanted to go with, our proms were the same night. So we were like, well, I want to go to my prom. He was like, well, I want to go to my prom. So we like, well, I guess we're not going together. But no, I had a really good time. But yeah, that's how that happened.
I did the friend group thing, and we had a blast. So
yeah, I mean, we still went as a group. We still definitely went as a group. I think there was 2 sets of us or 3 sets of us that rode together. So yeah, we still did a group thing just with our dates in tow. So I feel you. At prom, as I mentioned in our cast, we had our second throwback cast member in Matthew Lillard as the principal. We heard him throughout, but we didn't see him. 2 questions. Do you wish that they had a musical artist as kind of the DJ, the way that we had Usher in the original? And then my second question, did you enjoy the big dance number?
So I didn't think that hard about having, a big artist as the DJ. Although that interaction was funny. He's like, we're paying you how much to be on your phone?
Exactly. $4,500. Okay.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I actually did enjoy the dance scene the first time I saw it, just because I'm like, okay, I forgot about this, how they had the choreography.
Yes.
The second time I watched it, I was like, oh, they could have did more, but I guess there's only so much you can do in heels. I don't know. And Addison Rae, she's big on TikTok, and we've criticized TikTok dances already, in the past privately, right? Like, is this dancing just all the movements, upper body only? And it's very like cheerleader. It's like
1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly. Don't get me started on that bunny hop, okay? And then the other part is, she is, technically a dancer, but it's not very soulful. I'll just say that much. So I don't really enjoy it as much.
Now, this is one thing I think they did do better than the original, because I remember in the original, it was so out of place that all of a sudden we do this big choreographed dance number. At least on this, there was the element of making fun of it, where he was like, listen, we have our dance team that's been put together this choreography. I don't know why we do this as a weird tradition. Like, I appreciate that context, because it was so weird to just see them bust out. And remember, it was only, I think, maybe Taylor of the original cast who even was in that major dance number. Freddie Prinze didn't dance. Rachel Lee Cook didn't dance. So it's like, it was just a little off-putting. It was like, y'all just brought some professional dancers in one time for this.
Well, to be fair, Freddie Prinze talked about this in that same interview I was talking about previously. And he said that apparently Usher says in a voiceover, all right, time for the dance that I taught you. That's it. And then another line he'll say, look at the dance team out there, or something like that. Very throwaway lines that if you did not catch, you would not have gathered. But what's interesting is that Freddie Prinze is not a dancer. And so he said the choreographer was very kind, and they bonded so much that he and his wife were married by the guy. And he's a famous choreographer. I forgot his name. I'll put it on our social media. But
him and Sarah Michelle Gellar were married by the choreographer for She's All That. That's a gem. That's a gem right there.
I'll try to find it before the end of this recap, but go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So when we get to the crowning of the king and queen, Jordan won. Cameron didn't even show up to prom to even see if he had won. Pageant won queen, but she gave a big speech to Laura about her fake life, complete with a prepared slideshow, and ultimately rejected the honor. Were you moved by this speech about authenticity and being your true self, Delora?
No, but it was giving me major Mean Girl vibes, which the director, directed that film as well. But it wasn't as moving. But I mean, again, I was over hate watching by this point, but I'm just like, okay, here's the quintessential, I've learned a lesson, I'm so sorry, hopefully I get the guy back.
Yeah, I didn't feel a thing. So moving on. Runner-up to prom queen was not Alden, who ran up to the stage. She actually came in fourth, but it was Outcast Celeste who hit Jordan in the face as she accepted her crown. We end the film with the familiar song, Kiss Me, and Cameron arriving on horseback. Delora, what did you think of Cameron and Paget's chemistry overall as we wrap up the film?
I thought it was fine. It wasn't like intense compared to some of the other movies and shows we've recapped, but it was fine. It wasn't awkward, which I appreciate also, because I've also watched some love stories where I'm just like, this is painful, you know? But I absolutely loved him rolling up on that horse. I was like,
in the denim jacket. He gave me Blake Shelton vibes in that moment. I was like, this is a Blake Shelton. You know, he did. He did. Not the looks, but it was just like, I feel like with the jean blazer and the horse, like Blake Shelton would have done this for Gwen Stefani at prom. Absolutely. If they had met in high school. I thought their chemistry was okay as well. I didn't feel like this overwhelming passion whatsoever. To me, I got friend vibes, and that's cute. That's fine. We see them take that overseas trip that Cameron had been talking about throughout the entirety of the film. But I was left to wonder, did Paget get her money for college? I guess we're supposed to assume so, because we still see her doing her social media postings even while they're traveling. Did you get the sense that we're supposed to assume she got her money and is going to go off to school?
I honestly didn't think that hard, Ashley.
Just wonder, because remember, Cameron wasn't planning on going to school. So I was like, so what are we doing? What are we doing, Paget? What are we doing?
But, I mean, if you had the option of going to school and traveling across Europe, which one would you pick though?
I mean, if we're talking about just deferring for a year, I don't know. That would have been a hard choice for me because I was always so school oriented and always so focused about my academics. So I don't know. Now as a grown woman, I have options. So hell yeah, I'm gonna go travel. But
I'm gonna absolutely travel. I actually put in my notes, I'm like, I want to go horseback riding in mountains in the morning. Like, that looks so gorgeous. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we grown women out in these streets now though. So the bet at the end of the film is to get the word loser tatted on your arm. Now, at the end of the original, Zach had to go to graduation butt naked. Which would you prefer, Delora?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Probably something that didn't require anything permanent on my body. So
you go butt naked to graduation?
In the body I was at 18, sure.
2 snaps. All right. All right, Dolores said, I'm about to put them cheeks out at graduation. Do your thing, sis.
What about you?
That's a really good question. I feel like I lean tattoo just because I know it can get removed versus possibly showing my ass out for my parents and family and anybody else who may have been attending my graduation. That's what I was thinking. But I don't know. Both are silly, and I probably would have done either if I had lost, and it would have been fine. But I think I'm leaning tattoo girl. So any final thoughts that you want to share with the folks for our recap of He's All That?
So I guess I just want to reiterate what I was saying previously. Like, I went in feeling like, oh my goodness, they are really casting an entire TikTok star in a whole entire movie of a beloved movie. It just felt really cheap to me. And so, like I said, I was curious, and I just really did appreciate all the present day themes that were incorporated in the original template. You know what I mean? And Addison's acting was not that bad. So, and I just wish they were all in the same universe. But other than that, we survived. La 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 la.
It's Gordon Van Drannon, damn it. Bob, seriously. My final thought is they killed me with all this damn product placement. Y'all went overboard. It was the Bose. It was the Pizza Hut. It was the KFC. It was every 5 minutes. Y'all got a product placement in this movie. Y'all went too far. Y'all went too
It
far.
was the Old Navy. Ashley, when I saw Pizza Hut and KFC, I was like, this is my 1999 like it was. You know what I mean? Like, kids aren't eating this.
Exactly.
I'm not eating this.
Right. Right. You got the kids today that are so conscious of what they're putting in their bodies and going vegan and doing all this stuff.
Unrealistic. It was unrealistic, in my opinion.
It was overboard. But anyway, to your point, we're gonna leave it there. Addison, you did a good job for your first role, girl. We'll see what you do next. Delora, that is it for our recap for this week. Sis, what you got in hidden gems?
All right, Ashley, I have 2 songs this week. All right, so the first song is from this movie. Mm-hmm. It was the signature song. It was kind of like the Kiss Me of this movie, right? It's the song that was played when they kissed each other for the first time, and it was strategically placed throughout, and it's called Carried Away by Surf Mesa and Madison Beer. And it's the song I love to love to do. I enjoy it. I'm really good for Shazamming things when I hear a bop, right? And speaking of Shazam, the second hidden gem I have is actually quite hidden because this young lady is not very popular at all. But I think I Shazammed it when I watched the remake of The Craft. I watched that.
Okay.
And this song is called Green, and it's by a Latina named Kieran. And again, it's a bop. Highly recommend. Again, called Green. You spell her name Kaina. I might have mispronounced it, but I'm notorious for that. But highly recommend. What about you, Ashley?
So I have 3 this week. My first, well, they're all Netflix drops because again, once you put me on a platform, I feel like I just stick with it for a little bit. Really Love is my first one, Laura. This is a Black love romance that dropped last week on Netflix, starring my guy from Queen Sugar, Kofi, who is a struggling artist and falls for a law student. Cast members include my girl Uzo Aduba, Naturi Naughton, a member of my top 5, Michael Ealy out here, and Blair Underwood.
Your top 5 of what, Ashley?
Of beautiful men that I would love to be in the company of.
Recalibrate mine, because Yaya is making his way in that top 5 in recent years.
Okay. Mine shifts, it ebbs and flows, but Michael Ealy has been a mainstay for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my sister, he's on my sister's list for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the forever bays. But I would just encourage everybody to check it out. I love Black love stories. I think this was one that had a lot of layers and depth to it in terms of the 2 main characters and what they were going through and the things that they were struggling with or dealing with in their relationship. So I enjoyed it. Really love on Netflix. My second, Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed documentary on Netflix. Now, Delora and listeners, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was unaware of who Bob Ross was until I saw Utica and Snatch Game on RuPaul's Drag Race. I didn't know this man. So
you didn't know about Happy Trees?
I did not know this man. Okay. What? This is a part of Americana that I was not familiar with.
So but I see it's on my list, but I grew up watching him on PBS. So I guess I'm interested to see what this means to you compared to like how it means to me.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a nostalgia factor that I just don't have because this white man with a perm I never watched until recently. But I feel like
ASMR before it was a thing. Right?
And I'm aware. And he does have a very soothing tone, so I get it. But I feel like ever since I saw that, I have caught more glimpses of him in pop culture. Like there was a reference to him in Euphoria, as one of the girls went out as him for Halloween. Yes. Like I just caught more of it once I was aware of who he was. So of course I wanted to check out this documentary when I saw it highlighted because I'm like, oh, let me learn more about this man. So he had this, in my opinion, like a Mr. Rogers easygoing demeanor. You already talked about kind of like he's soft-spoken, so those soft-spoken painting lessons lessons. I understood the appeal. I got why people loved watching him, but the documentary was so upsetting because it's a tale of yet again an artist who was railroaded, whose legacy was stolen in order for profit for other people. So the info that was exposed to me was like very shameful. So if you enjoy watching a good documentary or just generally curious about Bob Ross and want to learn more about him, I would say check this one out. I think it was well done. So that is Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed on Netflix. My final one, my favorite, Clickbait on Netflix. This was a hell of a ride. I was glued to my TV for this 8-episode series of a family man abducted and videos put up online with a threat of death looming over the view. So Adrian Grenier of Entourage fame stars, and it's one of the quickest binges I've had in quite a while. And the twists were satisfying as hell. So check it out. And those are my 3 hidden gems for this week, Delora.
Yay! All right, Ashley, before we go, I actually found the gentleman, the choreographer. He's now since been like producer and director of really major films, like one of my favorite, Hairspray, director for A Walk to Remember. So he's out here in these streets. His name is Adam Shankman. So
yes, I've heard of Adam Shankman.
Exactly.
Okay.
He's a silver-haired guy.
Okay.
But I knew he was a dancer because i.e. Hairspray, but he's actually part of some really fun projects coming out. He's going to be a part of Disenchanted, which is the sequel to the Amy Adams Enchanted, yes. And then he's an executive producer for Hocus Pocus too. So yeah, he's a big wig in Hollywood. But yeah, he started off as a choreographer for She's All That.
and marrying some of the 90s superstars, teen, heartthrobs of the day. Well, that's awesome. Well, guys, we'll end on that last hidden gem from Delora, and we will see you guys next time for more hot topics and headlines in these streets. See you next time.
Bye.